This morning we're working on our OB Peacock lines. These are OB Gold, or Gold OB Peacocks. Let me look at the chart real quickly. We lost our breeders in the winter storm. We set up 45 youngsters, 2 males I was sure of, 3 females I was sure of, and the rest of them were what I hoped were females. I turned out to be pretty accurate on that. I kept 29 of the females, and I'll show you why I didn't keep all of them. I purged some of them, and then I picked 17 young females from our BRUs. BRU stands for Breeders Unsexed. So we ended up with 46 females in the breeding colony. That's pretty good. I like doing between 40 and 50. I'm going to pick 3 males. I've gone through the males. We have 32 males. Well, we're going to have 34 males to sell. Plus, we ended up with some sky blue OBs out of these, and that happens. Our OB strains don't always breed 100% true for color. They're all colorful, but they sometimes our golds will throw some sky blues, and vice versa. But usually it's the golds throwing sky blues. Also, occasionally an orange OB out of this strain, and some party color OBs. And I've got a few party color males, and I'm going to have 1 orange OB male I'm going to show you in a minute. Right now, let's quickly, before we go to the aquarium, let's select. I have 5 males that are kind of finalists. One of these really isn't a finalist. I'm going to show you this guy. We'll put him in the aquarium later. He's more of an orange than a gold. So I'm going to set him aside and pick 3 of these 4 gold males. I like that one better. That one still. And that one. Okay, so let's go over this. This guy's a nice fish. He just isn't as gold as I like. He's got some nice color in him. And this male we're going to drop in with our potential orange OB breeders. When we do those, we'll see how he stacks up against the current breeders. And these are the 3 gold males I'm going to put in. This guy's really nice and gold. He's pretty good. See if I can get all 3 of them at one time. They're all good fish. I like this one best, and he's biggest. What? Okay, yeah, we'll put him in here. He's the biggest of the 3 males, so he's likely to do most of the breeding. Now I'm going to show you females. And I've put up most of the females, but I want to show you 2 different females here. Do you note the difference between those 2? Susie, do you notice it?
Yeah, peach background versus the orange background.
Yeah. Okay, the pale one will make a good sky blue OB breeder. What I've discovered about this strain, let's get these 2 up here. That color female, the gold females, throw the best gold males. That color female throws good sky blue OB females, and that's what I purged. She's one of the ones I purged from this breeding colony. She's a nice female, she just isn't good for this strain. And this comes from a long time breeding these fish. We started with our OB Peacocks in 2003 after Hurricane Claudette. We got a box of what was about 150, 200, 300 little OB Peacocks from a Florida fish farm. We drew them up, and I picked the best males and gave them a bunch of females, and we split it into gold OB, orange OB, blue OB, and sky blue OB. Actually, sky blue OB came along later. And you know, like I say, these strains don't breed absolutely true. The golds don't throw any blue OBs, but they do throw some sky blue OBs and occasionally an orange OB. I'm going to show you, let me put these up. I'm going to show you 2 young females that I'm adding to the breeding colony. This female goes back to the breeding colony. This female does not. Okay, these are 2 probably 5-month-old fish. They are going to be really, really nice breeder females. The interesting thing about this, about our OBs, is the females tend to be more spotted than the males. Males will have a few spots. You can almost sex these guys when they're little by the number of spots they have. But those are, you can look at the heads on those fish and their fins and the spotting, and they're definitely females. And they're young. They're, like I say, about probably 5 months old, or yeah, about 5 months. So those guys are going to go join their compadres in the breeding vat. See, I think there was something else I was going to tell you. Let me think what it was. Oh, okay, yeah, we ended up harvesting 180 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 inch fish out of this. We have looks like about 83 BRUs. Again, that's breeders unsexed. We're growing those up to select replacement breeders next time if we need them. We have 37 females to sell, and let's see, 10, 11, let me write this number down. 33, 34 males that we'll be selling. They're nice fish. They just didn't quite make the cut. My philosophy in raising fish is raise a lot of fish of a particular strain so that you have a lot of fish to select from. If you're looking for that fish that happens 1% of the time and you're growing 50 fish breeding cycle, you don't have much of a shot at getting it. But if you're growing 500 a breeding cycle, you have a chance of getting that fish. We've had people ask about our database, and Susie, you might. This I printed up, did a query. This is Microsoft Access. It's a relational database. If you're an SQL SQL programmer, you can program directly into it. Otherwise, it's got a bunch of good, it has a good decent interface. And what I did to print this was simply tell the system I wanted to see every vat with gold OB Peacocks, which we call Peacock Gold OB in the database. And it then printed up everything. And so we knew what vats we had to work. Then these notes down here are what went back into vats or even different vats, and we'll update the database later on today with that information. You'll note I have a note here, 1 Plico in the 2D08, which is a 300-gallon breeding vat, that we try to have at least 1 Plico, 1 Plecostomus in each 300-gallon vat. They do algae control, they stir up the mulm and keep things in fairly clean conditions. And they also eat snail egg cases and keep the snail populations down. Susie objects to a lot of snails when she's sorting fish. And so I've been cut by some snail shells, so it's a reasonable thing. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. This produced about less than half of what we would like for it to produce, but they were all really young fish. We only had 3 definite females. Oh yeah, yeah. We had several hundred fry in the buckets, the females that were ready to spit them. Our females don't spit eggs. The reason for that is that they get handled frequently enough that those who spit eggs don't hold them, miss a breeding cycle, and their genes don't get passed on in the numbers of the females who do hold eggs. So it's difficult to get our females to spit. They only spit when the fry are ready to go, and we had several hundred. So I put those back in the 300. They're too small to handle, so I just poured them back in, and we'll get them out next breeding cycle, which will be probably about 3 months, maybe 4 months, depending upon how quickly we work. Okay, good fish keeping.